In the glare of the spotlight, the pressure to look perfect can be suffocating. These 7 men, ranging from the king of pop to the human Ken doll, attempted to sculpt their own destinies through plastic surgery. But as their transformations became extreme, they revealed a painful truth sometimes. In the race to fix our flaws, we end up destroying ourselves. Michael Jackson was much more than just a worldwide icon. He was a societal phenomenon, a rare talent who permanently revolutionized the audio and visual aspects of contemporary music. As the globe grooved to Billie Jean and Thriller privately, Michael was waging an intimate war against his own mirror image. During the start of the 1980s, he still possessed the gentle attributes and sparkling gaze that originally won over the nation. However, as his stardom expanded, his self-doubts increased as well. His initial plastic surgery, a nose job done following a practice accident, was originally meant to fix respiratory problems. Nevertheless, it signaled the start of a lengthy and complex metamorphosis. Additional nasal operations ensued, accompanied by cheek augmentations, chin reshaping, eyelid tweaks, and facelifts. Eventually, his formerly symmetrical looks started to alter, and his nose, previously distinctive and recognizable, grew progressively delicate and hard to identify. Still more contentious was the alteration in his complexion. As his skin paled, gossip circulated swiftly that he was trying to wipe out his African-American heritage. Michael insisted he was afflicted by vitiligo, a disorder that eliminates skin color, although skeptics charged him with separating himself from his origins. The reality, as numerous people suspect, falls somewhere in the middle. He was weighed down by prejudice in show business, unyielding media malice, and unattainable aesthetic expectations. Although his artistic genius never faded, his visage turned into an image of anguish and strain. At the moment of his passing in 2009, Michael Jackson was not merely the king of pop. He had evolved into a tragic example, a man who attained it all but lacked inner tranquility. His songs live on, yet his physical change stays a chilling sign of how the chase for flawlessness can devour the human beneath the myth. Throughout the 1970s, Igor and Grichka Bogdanov were hailed as the nation's talented darling brothers of the small screen. Smart, engaging, and incredibly good-looking, they captivated viewers with programs concerning sci-fi, space studies, and the secrets of the cosmos. Possessing defined jaws, prominent facial bones, and natural magnetism, the pair became stars, revered for both their brains and attractiveness. However, the thing that eventually shifted their fate was not scientific study. It was medical intervention. By the close of the 1990s, their looks started to alter in a manner that left society shocked. Initially, the alterations were slight. Subsequently, nearly suddenly, their features appeared completely reshaped. Their cheekbones became artificially protruding, their mouths plumper, and their chin areas widened into bizarre dimensions that contradicted biology. At every public outing, the metamorphosis intensified. Before long, gossip magazines and spectators equally labeled them the extraterrestrial brothers. The siblings dismissed the rumors, asserting their fresh appearance was linked to advanced ideas or individual development. However, the majority of onlookers concurred they had subjected themselves to numerous cosmetic operations, injections, neurotoxins, and additional trial treatments. At glamorous gatherings such as the Cannes Film Festival, they turned into global phenomena well before the web made online popularity widespread. Images of the pair circulated quickly, generating internet humor gags, and one lingering query: what occurred to them? Yet maybe the most unnerving aspect was not their external metamorphosis. It was their reaction. They never refuted, clarified, or expressed regret. Rather, they embraced the circus, viewing their progression as an intentional show of rebellion against conformity. In 2021, both siblings passed away merely days from one another because of consequences from COVID-19. Hardly anyone could have predicted that the 1980s idol, the guy whose intense gaze and rough manliness once caused millions to fall in love, would eventually turn into one of Hollywood's saddest instances of cosmetic procedures, ending badly. Mickey Rourke possessed it all: notoriety, ability, and the sort of unpolished magnetism that characterized the quintessential hard man of the movies. However, when he retreated from performing in the early 90s to pursue a profession in prize fighting, everything shifted. The arena didn't merely lose him fights, it took his visage. Years of savage hits left Rourke with broken bones, profound marks, and lasting wounds. At first, operations were essential to fix the harm. But what started as restorative work escalated into a chain of ill-judged aesthetic trials. Scalp treatments, numerous nasal repairs, synthetic cheek fillers, and efforts to erase heavy lines ensued consecutively. The operations accumulated numerous, being poorly recommended, resulting in outcomes that were devastating. Rather than recovering his stunning looks, Rourke appeared with a countenance that seemed more molded than natural, hiding the emotive appeal viewers previously loved. Even when famous doctors attempted to reverse the harm, merely slight betterment arrived. Rourke frequently appeared more aged than his actual age, his formerly intense look substituted by something oddly dead. To his merit, he has talked openly regarding his decisions, confessing he visited the incorrect doctor to repair his face. He describes it as a component of his life's path, yet the reality is unavoidable. His obsession with keeping his youth robbed him of the captivating genuineness that rendered him an icon. Simon Cowell never required screaming to demand notice. A single lifted brow, a cunning grin, or a frosty pause was sufficient to cause any participant to break down. For ages, he represented the visage and steel determination driving American Idol, The X Factor, and Got Talent. However, in his attempt to save that renowned visage, he almost destroyed it. The shift did not occur instantly. It sneaked in slowly, silently, then suddenly altogether. It commenced with innocent aims, a bit of Botox, some injectables. Cowell would afterwards jest, "I was utilizing Botox similar to toothpaste." What commenced as minor upkeep turned into a fixation, and that fixation quickly evolved into excess. By the beginning of the 2020s, the metamorphosis was unmissable. As he featured in a 2023 clip commemorating One Direction's milestone, followers were shocked. His countenance appeared stiff and plastic-like cheeks, bizarrely swollen complexion, taut and shiny mouth, immobile and blank. Online platforms exploded with doubt. Who is that? He resembles a wax gallery imitation of Simon Cowell. The most severe criticism, however, originated from his own house. His little boy Eric admitted he was frightened when looking at him. That instant turned into Cowell's realization. The adjudicator had transformed into the evaluated, and the looking glass became his tribunal. From that time, Cowell has changed direction. He removed injections, quit Botox, and switched to more wholesome routines: organic skin treatments, water intake, proper diet, and sleep. He confessed, "I viewed a picture of myself and failed to identify who it was. That was not me." Yet the harm, at least figuratively, was complete. The guy who built a profession insisting on genuineness from people was compelled to find it again inside his own soul. Simon Cowell's path is not just regarding aesthetic improvements. Whereas numerous individuals fantasized about celebrity or wealth, Justin Jedlicka aimed for flawlessness. Not the sort bestowed by biology, but the variety created by a doctor's touch. As a youngster, he observed dazzling television celebrities captivated by their immaculate looks and opulent ways of living. For Justin, achievement did not originate from hard work or natural ability. It was something one could engineer a single operation at a time. Merely 4 days following his 18th birthday, he was sedated for his initial nose job, the start of a permanent metamorphosis. By 2012, Justin had already experienced over 190 aesthetic procedures, involving pec shoulder and bicep augmentations, facial injections, brow elevations, fat removal, and multiple nasal repairs. That figure would ultimately rise into the hundreds with a calculated overall price exceeding $600,000. The press named him the living Ken doll, and endless gags asserted he was 99% synthetic. However, Justin never viewed it as humorous. In contrast to many stars who minimize their improvements, Jedlicka glorified his alteration. For him, plastic surgery was a mode of art. His physique, the breathing statue through which he conveyed his selfhood and innovation. He previously resided in Trump Tower, wed a rich tycoon before splitting up and subsequently relocated to Australia, where he publicly accepts both his radically changed look and his non-monogamous way of life. He actually starred on Botched, justifying his decisions with unwavering assurance, characterizing his adjustments as biological architecture. For certain people, Justin embodies brave self-manifestation and possession of one's physique. For others, he is a frightening caution concerning the risk of pushing narcissism to the extreme. His tale presents a sharp query. To what lengths would you proceed to cease resembling your own self? Justin Jedlicka did not merely pursue betterment, he chased complete remaking. Pete Burns, the eccentric lead singer of Dead or Alive, was renowned for his audacious fashion, powerful vocals, and magnetic stage presence. During the 1980s, he shot to stardom with the anthem, "You Spin Me Round Like a Record." But over time, his appearance garnered as much attention as his music. What began as a single reconstructive surgery for a broken nose triggered a lifelong fixation on self-reinvention. Throughout the years, Burns reportedly subjected himself to over 300 aesthetic procedures, including implants and facelifts, that pushed his physiology to the brink. His nose became alarmingly delicate, while rigid cheek implants altered his soft face, yet it was his lip enhancements that brought the most agony. Massive injections led to severe complications and near-fatal infections, requiring urgent medical attention to prevent total disfigurement. Rather than concealing his surgeries, Pete wore them proudly, defining himself as a living art piece in constant motion. However, as the alterations accumulated, the face in the mirror became unrecognizable, hovering between creative design and biological collapse. When Burns died in 2016 at 57, he left a complex legacy. To supporters, he was a pioneer for queer identity, who defied gender norms long before they were accepted. To critics, he symbolized the dark side of vanity, a man devoured by his need to change. Ultimately, Pete Burns's life is a story of extremes, showing how the pursuit of the ideal can blur the boundary between expressing oneself and erasing oneself. Sylvester Stallone stood as the definitive symbol of primal male strength throughout the 1980s. With his glistening physique, distinctive brow, and raspy vocals projecting determination, he did not merely play sturdy protagonists. He embodied resilience itself. As Rocky Balboa and John Rambo, he inspired millions. Yet there was one rival even this titan could not defeat: time. It began innocently with a medical necessity, as he revealed in 1992 that his signature lopsided grin was actually the result of birth-related nerve damage which he surgically corrected. However, what started as a repair evolved because Hollywood's ruthless fixation on youth left even its strongest icons vulnerable. Under the harsh gaze of high-definition lenses, Stallone slowly drifted into a quiet cycle of cosmetic interventions. Initially, the adjustments were minor, but as the years went by, the alterations became impossible to miss. His rugged, expressive skin appeared unnaturally tight and waxen, while his brows lifted excessively and his jawline sharpened to machine-like precision. His once ferocious gaze turned strangely static, leading experts to speculate about a regimen of facelifts, injections, and fillers. The issue now is not merely what procedures he chose, but how much of his original visage actually survives. Fans remain divided, with some defending his right to age on his own terms, while others mourn the loss of the authentic grit that defined him. Perhaps the deepest injury is not professional, but emotional. While Stallone's body remains powerful and his career continues, the face that once spoke volumes without uttering a word now tells a quieter, more somber tale. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends and hit that subscribe button for more fascinating stories. See you in the next video.